I am delighted to say that this week's episode is sponsored by the fantastic Viz magazine that I've been reading for 35 years. One of the biggest influences on British comedy, this magazine. Is fantastic. It's still just as funny as it always was. Quite funny. That is how funny it is. And we've got a special offer for you. You can try 3 issues of Viz. It's Britain's 3rd or 4th funniest magazine for just £1. That's 3 months of laughs for the same price as a 24-piece socket set, provided you get it from a pound shop. So that's what that is. And it's got all the usual stuff. I like Roger's Profanosaurus. It's got the letters. My friend Christina Martin often writes very funny letters for it. It's got all your favourite strips. If you haven't read this before, this is a fantastic opportunity to get it. Just 3 issues for £1. Just go to subscribe.viz.co.uk/RHLSTP and you will be able to take that offer up. There is also the opportunity, if you want to get a cheap Christmas present for someone, to get a gift subscription for just $13.99, because nothing says I love you more than 10 copies of Viz. So go to subscribe.viz.co.uk/RHLSTP and take advantage of this amazing offer. Thank you so much to Viz for sponsoring. It's an honour. Thanks for giving me some of the money back I've spent on your magazine over the last 35 years. Probably about even now. Anyway, go. Look, it's on the screen. Go there. It'll be good.
Rolling.
Cleaning my face. Hello, welcome to another episode of RHLSTP. This one's got Vic Reeves in it again, aka Jim Moir. And if you want to help us out with these podcasts, there's lots of great ways to assist us. You can just tell your friends about it. That's a great way to start. You can go to gofasterstrike.com/badges, become a monthly badger, get all kinds of extras like backstage videos, entry into a monthly draw, advance warning of all who the guests are. You get to see some stand-up shows as well. It's marvellous value, I have to tell you. Or you can go to gofasterstrike.com and buy some lovely emergency question books or DVDs like that one. Or you can just give me some free money for free. Don't do that. Anyway, let's go become a badger. Let's sit back. Come and see a show. Go to richardherring.com/gigs. New shows have been announced in Norwich in April 2020, and there's some more in London. And I think there's one coming up in Birmingham as well that hasn't been announced yet. And there may be a few more. And we've still got Hull, Sheffield, Northampton, all sorts coming up. So look out for those. Glasgow as well. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy RHLSTP with Victoria Reeves. Oh, now it's dark and I can't read what I'd written in here. I did have something. Oh, and someone's put a light on. Oh, hello! Welcome to the Marlowe Theatre in Canterbury. Again, we're back. These lot are much better than last week's audience. They were pricks. Please welcome a man who's happy to wait 20 years to find out what his face will look like when he's 70. It's Richard Herring! Thank you very much. Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you very much. Love to be back in Canterbury. I went home and came back again in the wedding. Well, I didn't wait a week. I'm not insane. There's a lot here, but, not that much. Welcome to Richard Herring's Lactating Shania Twain podcast. Every week, Shania Twain comes on and different celebrity guests attempt to suckle at her dugs. I'm not sure if she is lactating at the moment. That's what we find out. And if enough celebrities suckle on them, will she start to lactate? That is the other question in sympathy. I was hanging around at the Canterbury Tales experience. Wonderful. It's an interactive experience with shop window dummies in bad wigs. And an unemployed actress dressed as the wife of Bath said she calls it RHLSTP. So I don't know if that's going to catch on. I looked up I'm obsessed with these various around the country. There's very different. There's the Oxford story. There's the Jorvik one, which is the best one by miles. There's a couple of others. The Canterbury Tales is the worst one of them. It's even worse than the Tales of Robin Hood in Nottingham, which doesn't even exist anymore and is still better than the Canterbury Tales. All the TripAdvisor, I'm going to read some TripAdvisor. All the TripAdvisor ones, or even the bad ones, say everyone there was so lovely, the actors were so great, but it's terrible. That's. So I'm not, the people who work there, I'm not impugning you, but someone says, I paid £17 for 2 students to see 35 minutes worth of rubbish, which consisted of a few wax dummies in a smelly dark room. That's what you're getting? Now this one I think is unfair. One overpriced rip-off and doesn't do what it says. Didn't feel we went back in time at all. Not even a little bit. Let alone to medieval times. I'd have been happy with just World War II, like Gary Sparrow, but no. I googled Canterbury, and it comes up on Google, people ask, and these are the 4 main questions. These are the first 4 questions that people ask about Canterbury. What is special about Canterbury? That is number 1. They had no answer. Even Google had no answer there. What is Canterbury famous for? That's number 2. What famous event happened in Canterbury? Because there could only be one, and we know what it was. The 4th question, though, is Canterbury a real place? Oh, fantastic. And the Archbishop of Canterbury is back. And, of course, the first Archbishop of Canterbury was St Augustine, who said, God, give me chastity, just not yet. That was his famous... That's the kind of that's the kind of Archbishop I'd be. God, let me come into heaven, but I'll just apologise at the end for all the stuff I've done. He liked shagging St Augustine. They were all the first 10 Archbishops of Canterbury became saints, apart from one who died before he became the Archbishop of Canterbury. That's something I learned today. He was called something like Wigron or something like that. Just a little fact for you, in case that comes up. You should know, it's your town. Anyway, my guest this week is probably best known for his appearance in the 1987 video for Shaking Stevens' single, What Do You Want to Make Those Eyes at Me For? For which he was paid £10. Will you please welcome the amazing Vic Reeves, ladies and gentlemen? If he's here. He tricked me. Welcome. Welcome. You have to pick up your microphone, but you don't have to. Yeah.
Turn that off.
Yeah.
My mum's about to ring.
There's a microphone, I think, up your bum now. Yeah. It could be a new emergency question. There it is, and it's gone. And it nearly went up as you picked it up.
It's quite fruity.
Is it?
Who was sitting on this previous?
Sean, it was Sean Williamson.
What a fruity ass.
Yeah. I didn't call him Barry from EastEnders once. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't call him Barry or anything. So you remember the Shakin' Stevens video?
I do remember that moment, yeah.
How did you end up getting in the Shakin' Stevens video?
Was, my agent at that time was Malcolm Hardee. Do you remember him? Anyone remember Malcolm Hardee? He was the bloke who did the balloon act first. Anyway, he was my first agent, and that was in the 80s. And he said, let me go back a couple of moments before we talk about when he said, do you want to go and perform with Shakin' Stevens? He said, I was in his house, and he says, do you like Little Titch? I said, yeah. He says, I've got Little Titch's shoes here. And he had Little Titch's shoes.
Why?
Does anyone know Little Titch? I mean, he was...
The older people will remember.
Little Titch. He used to have these long shoes and he'd lean forward. I mean, I'm talking about 1920. He says, I've got Little Titch's shoes here. Do you want them? I went, yeah, how much? He went, 400 quid. 400 quid. And I said, no, I can't afford that. He says, you might like this. And he had the filthiest house you've ever seen. And he went round the back of the sofa like that and leant down. He said, what's this here? He says, and he picked it up. He says, Dickie Valentine's jacket. 5 quid. And then he said, do you want to do a gig? I says, what? And he goes, right, we're going up to Blackburn. I went, all right then. So we went up to Blackburn, and we're sitting on the train, and he taught me how to play some card game. Anyway, he was very good on the quiz machines.
Right.
He used to do the quiz machines all the time. All the time he did the quiz machines. And so we were in this. I was doing this gig. It was, I think, the first gig I'd ever done, and I didn't really know how to do gigs. And he said, right, we'll be in this pub and we'll play the quiz machines. So we did the quiz machines for ages. And I said, what time are we on? He says, you're on at 9 o'clock. And I said, well, it's 9:30. Anyway, what were we talking about? Then he says, here's a good one. He says, you're going to dance with Shaking Stevens. 10 quid. And I got the 10 quid.
Yeah.
And I went and spent it in the pub directly afterwards.
You could have had 2 Dickie Valentine jackets for that.
It was brilliant. So I was in Leicester Square. I turned up in my leather jacket, looking like the biker, the skinny biker I was then. I turned up and did me dance with
Shaky.
With Shaky.
How was he? Was he in? Was just Shaky?
That was it. Then he went, and that was it.
Yeah.
I got me 10 quid and I cleared off.
He's the biggest selling artist of the 1980s. You know, in the UK, so he sold more records than anyone else in the UK.
Shaky.
Yeah, in the 1980s.
Yeah. And I remember hearing that when he was 40, his brother was 90.
Do you think that shaking kept him young? Is that just if you shake enough, it confuses time?
His brother was even shakier than him.
It's shaking himself into the future. It could be true. It's possible, right?
I've got stories about Shaky, but I'm not willing to impart them. And I'm sure you've heard them as well.
I've heard some stories.
And I bet you have too.
But I think
how many people are out there tonight
there's a
to
few.
see you, Richard Herrings?
They're here to see you.
Oh, you've got a full, like, you know, you've got
full downstairs.
a circle, haven't you?
And it could be full in the next 2 circles. We just don't know. There's no way of knowing. No way of knowing whether it's full up there. There's some people. Shout out if you're in the upper circle. Look at that's 200 people up there. The shy people sat up there. Shout out if you're in the upper circle.
Yeah, everyone in the top circle. Yeah.
There's one person up there. Look, Archbishop of Canterbury.
How come half downstairs is empty and then there's an upper circle?
Because those people wanted to sit
Is
up
that
there.
all the rich people?
Yeah, they like to be away from the stairs. Actually, ironically, the stink travels up.
Your Honour?
If you've been to the Canterbury Tales, you'd know that. It's down here, it's almost stink-free. Almost.
That's yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about your... there's many strings to your bow. Jim Moir
Yeah.
is your real name. There's the first bombshell. And you've been incredibly successful. You know, you're seen as this Dadaist comedian, but you've been very successful in lots of other ways. And musically, there's a lot of... You did a lot of music. You've been on a lot of records.
I was a pop star.
Shakin' Stevens to begin with, and then on you went.
And then I became a pop star.
Yeah. Which was your favourite of your own singles that you were involved?
None of them.
You love them all equally?
None of my singles was what I would really want to have really done.
Right.
But I was just thrown into it, and I ended up doing... well, the first one was Born Free. Let me tell you about... Rather than what I would have done, what really happened, I did Born Free because when we started off, I used to sing songs at when we were on the theatre, and then when we were on TV, I started singing songs at the start of every show. So it was kind of like you'll remember this because you were knocking around with your mate.
That was.
At the same time, and we were like the darlings of the NME.
Yes.
So we were all kind of musical based. And when we came out to do our show, we'd sing a song which might be current at the time. It might be the Smiths or something like that. So I ended up getting offered to do a single by Virgin, and I said I'd do Born Free, a version of Born Free, which I did do with Swing Out Sister, who I turned up on my motorbike. I had a Manx Norton, and I drove it through London and ended up at the Virgin Studios and got out and sang the song and then cleared off.
Right.
And it was as simple as that. That's just what it was like then. I said, well, I'll turn up there, I'll sing this. So I did Born free as the, you know, and I did that. And it got to number 3 in the charts. Actually, no. Yeah, it was number 3. And I went and did Top of the Pops, and it was all really quite quick. So I ended up turning up there and doing Top of the Pops. And it was the first time that Blur had done Top of the Pops as well. Right. So I ended up knocking about with it. But I was like hanging around at Top of the Pops. This time it was filmed at Elstree, I think. It was after the BBC had moved from BBC Centre to Elstree and then back again. So I was at Elstree, and Blur were on, and the Smiths were on, I think, because I know I talked to Johnny Marr. Anyway, it's just fantastic. You know, you end up doing Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I thought this is, like, when I was a kid, I thought, you know, this isn't that a massive dream to be on Top of the Pops. And then I sang the song, and they didn't tell me, but they dropped a load of, like, tinfoil down. And they didn't tell me about it, and I swallowed half of it and started like gagging halfway through the song.
Could have killed you.
Then the second time we did it, then we became really big pop stars, and we did Dizzy, which got to number 1. And when we did that was really tricky, because we had oh God, what's her name? That round-headed woman from...
Bod?
No. Anyway, I did it with the Wonder Stuff, but there was oh God, I can't remember her name. She's got a really round, smooth head.
Is who?
She's very popular.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey! Yes! She has got a smooth, round head. Anyway, she was complaining that we had too much dry ice on the stage. And we had to keep doing it again and again and again. But my friend Miles, who's in the Wonder Stuff, he says, what we do is we do a shot, and then you go on, and then you do it, and everything kicks in, and it's really good, and you do a really good performance. But she kept stopping the performance. So we did about 7 of them. And by the time we got on, we were pissed. Really pissed. And Bob was like crawling around on the floor. And in the rehearsal, they had a load of washing machines behind. And I had to do a line into a washing machine and open the door up and do it. But then they'd changed that for a start. They got rid of the camera in there, so I spent most of my time half pissed looking in washing machines. And if you look back at it, that is actually what's happening. I'm just like singing it, but I'm looking in the washing machine, trying to find the camera.
Could be a new quiz show, couldn't it? It's a good game show. Find the camera in the washing machine.
But it was really good fun. I tell you, it's good fun being on Top of the Pops, and you meet loads of like top pop stars.
Yeah.
David Bowie was on when we did it. He was really grumpy as well.
Me and Stu presented Top of the Pops twice, so I never sang on Top of the Pops, but I did say the next thing after East 17 were on. Yeah, we presented it twice, but they got us.
I think
you never
I
get to
did
do that.
as
You must
well.
have done that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not many of us Top of the Pops presenters left.
We're from the olden days, aren't we?
I'd say the main thing I remember is just this sort of stinking mass of overexcited 15-year-old girls, which was just disgusting. I was just appalled by just this. It's like a horrible, multi-headed, stinking, sweaty monster. So the idea of anyone trying to have sex with that audience, they deserve to be put away for a long, long time. They're disgusting people.
I never really looked in that way.
Really, that's my main. More than anything else.
You were just looking at the girls.
I was looking at the girls, thinking they were just all screaming, and Robson and Jerome were on, and they were all. I was going, oh my God, this is horrible.
I do remember seeing. I saw a lot of people, but Wet. What's he called?
Marty Pellow.
Marty Pellow, and he came out of the blue to me. When, I was young. I was not young, but I was young to Top of the Pops, and he came out and went, that's awful, isn't it, to you Scottish people like that? Mind you, I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
Really, at roots. Yeah. But I couldn't tell a word he was saying, but it was obviously that he liked me.
Right.
And I liked that it came from Marty Pellow.
Yeah. It was a broad church, wasn't it, Top of the Pops? There was a lot of different kind of acts on there. And you did a single with the Smiths, but you got cut out of it. Is that right? You were backing.
No, I did a single. I did the backing vocals on That's Entertainment with Morrissey. Morrissey was a big fan of ours since we started, which was I was a big Smiths fan. So I thought, this is brilliant. And then we went, he invited us to go to him recording, and I did the backing vocals on That's Entertainment. And then we went and did another big night out, and we did Morrissey the Consumer Monkey. and he took massive umbrage
to it. You would think Morrissey would turn out to be a dick.
It wasn't really intentional. It was supposed to be. It wasn't anything really.
But you see, anyone who was a fan would love to be included in. Would get what you were doing anyway. It doesn't mean anything.
I don't know why he thought that he was a consumer monkey. Yeah. Oh, I can't see. Any kind of.
It's hard to know how you take umbrage at that. Say, how dare they say?
How dare he?
How dare they compare me to?
How dare he suggest I'm a consumer monkey?
And this is all stuff I've just cleaned.
I like your notebook.
Thank you. It's a Wookiee notebook from Star Wars. I lost it and was delighted, and then I found it again.
It looks like it's horrible to handle.
It's very polyestery and nasty. I don't know if the actual Chewbacca feels like this. But if he does, I'm not surprised he has to hang around.
That actually looks like the fur that was on Morrissey the Consumer Monkey.
Maybe that's why Morrissey got upset.
And he'd never have a handbook like that.
You sang the single of Shaun the Sheep. I thought that would be your favourite single that you had.
What was that?
Shaun the Sheep. Do you remember singing the Shaun the Sheep?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
You sing a little bit of it now, because I can't remember how.
I can't remember it.
I can't remember. Does anyone remember how it goes?
It was a job.
I love that.
You get jobs these, now and then. Yeah.
And there's a couple of the songs you did where they didn't let you put it out, or they changed it. It was, you did Vienna and changed the lyrics to Vienna. I would like to know about that. I haven't heard this. Do you remember this? You sang Vienna?
Yeah.
Are
you going to play it?
I can't play it. All I've got is you there to sing it. If you can remember.
Well, that was.
How did you change the lyrics?
That was long ago. That was in the early '80s, and we did. Me and my friend Johnny Irvin, who does music now, and we used to do stuff together, and we did a version of Vienna.
Yeah.
And put it out on a NME.
Oh, this was what was on this is the tape you were touting around. You had a tape when you were selling at the back of the NME.
Yeah, well, I used to flog tapes all the
Yeah.
time. Actually, going right back, I used to, in the early 80s in Brixton, I used to have in the back of the NME, I'd put in adverts for tapes by International Cod.
Yes.
And various other people. I just changed the name and make the music. We record music and just pump it out all the time.
Are they worth anything of those cassettes now?
Absolutely nothing. If you can find them,
I'd
like to have them back. Actually,
they must be quite rare. People might not even, they won't even know it's you.
But I did Vienna, yeah. It was, oh, Vienna. What I do remember, it started off really seriously. You know, like it does.
Yeah.
It goes something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then it ended up as bum dip bum dip. Hope big go hello soup have a banana, which is a kind of way that I always like to end a song.
Good. And and also, I don't think we talked much about this. Like, we have done a podcast before, so I'm trying to go down different routes. And I don't think we talked much about your art. I think we talked about you being at art school and stuff like that. But you're concentrating quite heavily on the art. There's a website of it. It's hard to describe. Jake and Dinos Chapman described it, able to command our laughter as a purgative to encourage the viewer to leak at both ends. Is that how you see your art?
Yeah, well, that's...
Is that what you're aiming for?
Art is my chief diversion.
Yeah.
I do it every day. Every day I paint. And I do. Today I've been working on a destruction of Fragonard.
It's about time someone took him down. Like some of it's comical and some of it's not comical. Some of it's twisted.
It's twisted and comical.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same way that I look at the way I work in comedy, which is it's hopefully comical.
Yeah.
But it's got a twisted edge.
Yeah, well, it runs all through the work you've done with Bob. The attention to detail of all the sketches and all the costumes and just weird things you have.
Well, I've always done it. Like when we first started, when it all first started was I was at art school and I wanted to do a kind of Gilbert and George film because I was making films with my friends, and what I wanted to do was make a film of a comedian, what I thought would be a comedian. I'd never actually seen any comedians ever. I'd never watched TV hardly at all, and I thought I'll do this character called Vic Reeves, which I presume would be like a northern stand-up, sort of like a compare at a club, and put all the stuff on in between. Going back, we used to run nightclubs which would have films on and things like that, and a friend of mine said, I run a comedy club. Well, he did run a comedy club. He said, do you want to check it over? And I said, yeah, all right, I'll do it. What do I do? And he said, you get about 3 comedians and a compare, and you take the money off the door. And I said, what if I do it all? He said, well, you take all the money. I said, well, I'm doing that. And I did it, and I made up Vic Reeves, and I made up all the acts that went in between.
Yeah. But that's why that was successful, because it wasn't like, you weren't doing anything like anybody else was doing. And that was still at a time where alternative comedy, there were some weird acts amongst alternative comedy, but you weren't seeing them. You were just making up your own thing in your own little world.
We were making up our own. I was making up my own thing, and I would make up all the props and everything in my kitchen in Deptford and take it all down to the theatre in a wheelbarrow. And kind of like, I don't know, you were doing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, you had I think you started like a little bit before us. I think like when you were breaking through, we were just sort of starting up. So you were this new thing you were probably on TV.
Well, we were new. I don't think anyone had done anything like us before.
Yeah.
Because I had no clue at all. I'd never done I didn't care, really. I just thought, this is a good idea, and did it. And then someone said, and we did it at a pub in southeast London, and then we moved to a theatre in Deptford, and then looked out one day, and then there was, if I'm here on my stage doing, which I didn't really care about, I was just like entertaining lots of people, and it was really good fun, and most of them were my friends. But I look out one day, and like from the stage, there's Michael Grade, and there is Alan Yentob, and after the show, a pair of them came round and said, do you want to do this on BBC or Channel 4? And I was going, you all right? Who's got the most money? Which is what you do, really.
Yeah.
When
Yeah. But I hadn't, talking about the big night out was the starting point, and I hadn't realised you didn't really write a script for it. You had 3 pages, so you didn't let the cameramen see the show beforehand.
No, we didn't. When we did the first big night out, we used to do it like we did it on stage, and we did it on TV, which is brilliant, I think, because when we did it on stage, and this is like, we did it for like 2 years, and that was like 6 weeks here, and then time off, and then 6 weeks. So it wasn't 2 years, it was just like a couple of shows. And I used to change the show every night. It'd be a totally different show. I'd write loads of things, and I'd give little pieces of paper to people and say, you do that. Say to Bob, here, you say that, do that, come on and do this. And it was so awfully rehearsed.
Yes.
In fact, it wasn't rehearsed. I just got, here, do that. And it was just so badly presented. It was awful. But that was what was great about it.
Yeah.
And then now we come to, when we went on TV, when we did it on Channel 4, we did it at Wandsworth at a studio. I was talking to my friends earlier on, saying when we did it at Wandsworth, we used to not really rehearse it at all. We used to turn up and just like do it, and we used to do it in half an hour.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But that's astonishing that you did. You recorded a TV show that was half an hour long.
Yeah.
In half an hour.
We used to do it in
One
half
take.
an hour. Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is like, if you know about TV, that nobody does that on
No,
TV.
no one does it at
Which
all
is
now.
why it
But I was
works.
saying to my friends earlier on, what was great about it was we used to do that, and also the bloke who used to work in the canteen was Ainsley Harriott.
Right.
And he was the chef, and he'd come out and he'd go, hey, geez, look at this, look what I got for you today, you love it. And all. That was Ainsley Harriott. He was just the chef who was in the theatre.
Right.
I know, no wonder he got on television.
The rub of the green. But it is. I remember with our first TV series, they made us retake so many times, And just every recording would take 3 or 4 hours, and the audience wanted to kill themselves by the end. I mean, at the beginning often, but by the end, you know, it was just, and your heart drops as a performer, because you just think, oh God, do I really have to do this again? Because you put the camera in the wrong place. But the cameraman were just trying to follow whatever was.
No, and we're doing it again now. We've just done
second.
We've done 2 big night outs. We did one last year and one this year. And what I did for these last 2 series is get a fella, a director who has not done any studio direction at all. And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I said, look, you just get on like filmers, get cameras on, you know, on the stage. I don't care if you see them at all, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we want to get it all done in half an hour.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I want it to look like it's a live thing, like it's a live, like this.
Like this, yeah.
So it's happening.
Yeah, well, it's true.
And none of this stuff where you've done them things. You know, they're 3 hours long. They're so boring. I never do any of them things. You know those
panel shows.
You know them panel shows.
Yeah.
You're in there for 3 hours, and you're bored stiff. It's not what I do.
No. It's good, but to be honest, if everyone did what you did, then TV would be shit. But one person can do it. One person can do it and be a genius. If everyone did it, it'd be quite annoying, wouldn't it?
I say, if you can't do it in half an hour, you ain't worth doing it.
It's true. It's true. Well, the art stuff is fantastic, and it does run through. I mean, everyone calls you a comedy Dadaist, and you know, your art Dadaist. I'm not even really sure what that means, but it's sort of not. You're not political. It's not political. It's sort of. How would you describe that idea? Is it just doing stuff is broadly more about cocking a snoop at authority without being specific? Is that too much? Yeah. I mean, the Dadaism...
It is anarchistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just do what I do. I'm on holiday now. I'm turning up. I'm always turning up because my friend Richard Herrings invited me on. I'm on holiday.
It's good.
Actually.
We're all on holiday tonight. I was looking at it. The website is very well worth having a look at. And you can buy your art. You sell originals and prints.
Sell my paintings. Yeah.
My favourite one is a triptych, I guess, or at least a running of 3, where you've got the ghost of Freddie Mercury, which is just a sheet.
Yeah.
And then a ghost of Prince, which has a little hairstyle on it.
And actually, those ones, I decided not to do those as prints, but as actual drawings. And if anyone ever wants one, I actually do the drawing.
Oh, do you? Good.
Yeah.
Right.
I do the drawings.
What do you like that? Oh, that's Nancy at the back, isn't it? Yeah.
That's my wife.
That's your wife.
What qualifying that?
She's agreeing that you do that, but it's nice that that's the first thing that is actually true in the show.
What else do you want to know, Richard Herrings?
I didn't have time to watch it, but I wasn't aware that you'd done an expose, an investigation of Jack the Ripper. At least I don't think I was, which Nancy also features in. I did see the beginning of it. Yeah.
I did do that.
Did you manage to solve the Jack the Ripper case? I think you do come up with an answer.
I did. Yeah, I solved it. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. You think that would have made more of a splash? It's 10 years ago.
Clear.
Yeah.
And I went and did that thing. You know, when sometimes you get asked to do. Look at that. That's a weird kind of way of scratching, isn't it? It's a sort of like a natural scratch, but it's unnatural. I got offered to do this show, have a look at Jack Ripper.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at Jack the Ripper.
Did they come to you, or did you go to them? Did they say, you have a look at Jack the Ripper, and you weren't interested, or did you have some interest in Jack the Ripper?
All right, I'm interested in that. I'm all right for that. Jack the Ripper, I'm interested. Was he really the Elephant Man?
So who was it? Let's cut to the chase.
Who was it?
Who did it?
I've got a good idea.
Yeah.
I've got a really good idea.
You should tell the authorities so they can wrap this case up. It's been bothering him for a while.
I'm not going to say.
He's still
leaving it right up. Move on to something
still
else.
going.
I tell you what, I do have a right idea who it is, but I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
I ain't going to tell you neither.
It's on YouTube. I watch it. Is this still available? This is a fantastic book of your art.
Oh, that's the first
Sunborn,
art book that I ever did.
Beautiful. Well, you know.
What else have you got there?
It's all my own stuff. Otherwise, you're welcome to take any of it. I can't flog it.
No, I signed it. Have I signed it for you?
You haven't signed that yet, no.
There's a little scribble in there. Looks like.
Probably reduced to £2. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. I have to be careful because I definitely have asked you some before.
Yeah,
Look into it.
Who's interested in the moon landing?
Yeah.
Have you heard about it? It's just happened, didn't it?
Are you going to investigate that?
I
next?
was there. I can tell you, I was there at the first moon landing.
Were you on the moon?
No,
Okay.
me and my mate Peter Shackleton.
Yeah.
No, right. Let me tell you. Let's go back in time to 1969. This time, 1969. Me and my mate Peter Shackleton. We were 10. We went round to his mum and dad's house. We were allowed to stay up all night for the moon landing. And we did. We stayed up all night. And it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think. We were like that. It's going to happen. But then we all got the day off school the next day, which was brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that great of people? The government to say, you can have the day off work, the day off school, the next day.
Yeah.
Because the moon landed. It was such a big thing.
Well, I was 2. I was just 2 years old. I think I remember the rocket taking off, but it could have been a subsequent.
I remember seeing the whole thing. I was 10. I was
that
watching
was sticking
the
in your
whole
memory.
thing.
Who was your favourite of the 3?
Michael Collins.
Was he? I like
the bloke
Michael
who
Collins.
went round the dark side of the moon.
He just stayed in.
Oh, do you know what? What I used to like is that American bloke who said he used to call it the mun. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great moment. People are gonna land on the moon. We're going, it's the moon. The moon. This is the greatest moment in man's history. When man has landed on the moon.
Michael Collins.
You can't call it Uranus anymore.
You can't call the moon Uranus.
No, you can't
Call
say
it
Uranus
You're
anymore.
going to say Uranus, do you?
No, it's called your arsehole.
Was that whole bit just leading on to that joke? Did we bring up the moon landing? It was the 50th anniversary, pretty much as we recorded this. I feel sorry with Michael Collins. He was at the reunion bit, and I can't just imagine people go, sorry, who are you? I'm Michael Collins. What? Who are you? Because everyone forgets Michael Collins. Buzz Aldrin gets, the Toy Story named after him, doesn't he?
And Michael Collins saw something
Did
on
he?
the other side of the moon.
What did he
That's
see?
what he said.
Yeah.
I saw something. I saw the face of God. Oh, he saw something. He saw an alien or something like that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
He's just trying to big his bit up.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking,
He's
isn't it?
just trying to big his up. I'm the bloke going to stay in the
yeah,
capsule.
he did.
Do you go with the people? There's a lot of conspiracy theorists hitting Twitter at the moment about the moon landing not being
Yeah, there's a
genuine.
lot of conspiracy in there.
Yeah.
JFK, is it really an airport?
Oh.
what have you got to say about that? Nothing.
I won't attempt it. I've been defeated. I'm not. So, Bob was a little bit ill just after the last time you were on, which must have been, it was a dicey moment. He actually, he got married because he thought he was going to die, and then he didn't die.
Yeah.
Must be disappointing. He did his will, he got sorted out.
How long have we got here?
When you think someone's going to die and then they don't die, is it a bit disappointing that they've stayed alive? They kind of... It's Clive James has done it as well. Clive James had that big thing, I'm going to die soon. Still fucking... That's 10 years ago. Can't do that, can you? Fuck off. If you say you're going to die, you've got to fuck off. Anyway, we're delighted Bob survived.
Blimey, look, there's Kate. She comes everywhere.
Ah.
She goes everywhere I ever go.
Only you can see her, that's the scary thing.
Hello, Kate.
There's an empty seat.
If we went on tour, well, actually, when we didn't go on tour,
yeah, you were meant
Kate
to
bought tickets for every night.
Wow. Are you a psychomentalist?
Then we didn't.
Oh, she did the shoot for a second.
She's a lovely girl, and there she is.
Yeah. She does look nice.
She's our biggest fan.
Compared to the people who come to all of my shows, which are more like that. I mean, he doesn't, but they look more like that.
Who are you with today, Kate? Your boyfriend?
Today, that sounds like you're with different guys. Today's my boyfriend, Jim. Shut up. She seems very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Well, I was going to talk about Bob. So Bob's everything's sorted. You did that nice painting or drawing of him thumbs up, and everything was okay.
When he was in his, I don't know, in his downers, ups. I did a picture of him when he was all sort of gassed up and looking awful.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, and then you went out on tour after, so you took a few months, and then you did the tour.
Yeah, we did. I mean, he was. We were going on tour, and then we had a meeting, and he said, "I'm going to have to go to the doctors, and I think it'll be all right." And then he came back and said, "It's not going to be all right," and we had to cancel the whole tour because he had a triple heart bypass.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So, and then we went, all hail to him. He got right back on the horse. We went back and did it. And he's fit as a fiddle. You know, he got back on it and we did it.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic that he's done that. It's fantastic that you're back. I mean, he's working with other people. Does that feel... The fishing thing, are you a bit annoyed with him going off fishing with Paul Whitehouse?
Oh, with him, am I jealous?
Yeah, you're jealous of him going off. You stand by him when he's about to die, and then he just goes off and does some fishing. Why isn't he fishing with you?
I haven't been... the last time I went fishing was when I was a kid.
Right.
I went fishing. The last time I went fishing, I saw... Kurt Cobain's wife.
Okay.
I said, Courtney, love.
So you can do jokes. You just choose not to.
That's a joke.
That's a proper joke.
That's a proper
Jim.
joke.
I'm glad to see a proper joke. But within your company...
That's a proper joke that just came out.
It's good.
I haven't been fishing for years.
No.
And Bob likes fishing.
Can't be hard.
He likes fishing, I like painting.
Yeah.
We're just a couple of old guys.
And do you talk about in an interview I saw that you have a psychic, you can send each other psychic messages, or is that just that you have a psychic?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, that is... I don't know if you felt that when you were working with your... comedy partner, Stuart.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Stuart Lee. You remember him?
Yeah.
Stuart Lee?
Yeah.
Did you ever have any psychic moments?
I think you do know where it's weird
How
that
long did you work with
like,
you and, when it was it was Herring and
Yeah,
Lee and Herring.
Lee and Herring.
Actually, Lee and Herring, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was. It was about 13 years in total.
And did you have a psychic moment?
I think we often knew exactly where the other one was going. Your brains were making the same leap. So is this what you mean? When a routine was going along,
Yeah.
I would know he was about to say something, or I could tee him
Yeah.
up and know that he would understand what I wanted him to do, or vice
Yeah, I
versa.
get the feeling you didn't.
Okay.
With Bob and B. Do you know what we are? We're absolute brothers. Total, linked like that.
Can you send him a message now? Can you ask him if he'll do my podcast again?
Yeah.
Okay. Has he said anything back?
Yeah, and when we did, I don't know. You know when you get, it works so well.
Yeah, no, it does.
And you can have so much fun with it, and you can just know when the moment is you say no or yes.
Yeah. But you've made this point yourself, I think. There aren't any other double acts, really, proper double acts working.
I don't think there are any.
I mean, maybe French and Saunders, but they're not really doing much. But
No.
there's not all the other double acts have either stopped or were never really properly double acts.
I don't think there are any double acts at all apart from Bob and me.
That might be true.
What?
Whatever in history.
At the moment, there
No,
aren't.
there aren't.
There
There aren't,
been
but
for a long time.
But it's also quite rare, I think, for the female double acts sometimes work for a lifetime. It's quite rare, I think, for the male double acts to work without rancor, at least. Without rancor between... And you two don't argue with each other and are friends, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's quite rare, I think. Morecambe and Wise, I think, were very close. Lauren and Hardee were very close and stayed friends all the way through, though they had little niggles. But you two, it's genuinely, you're brothers. You genuinely think you're those brothers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without doubt.
Yeah. We didn't have that. Stuart's a cunt. But what I like about the stuff you both do separately and together, is it's about getting laughs. That's the most important thing, right? So like something like House of Fools was a great sitcom because it was just about the jokes were more important than anything else. The laughs.
When we did that, it was really just about us getting as many laughs into the seconds that were made on that show.
Yeah.
And what I don't get about a lot of comedy, and Americans comedy especially, is that you, as far as I'm concerned, it's like you get as many laughs in to one pocket as you can.
Yeah.
And that, if there was an award for getting the most laughs in one show, we get it. But isn't that the kind of
because comedy, because the awards and plaudits go to comedy comedians who can be serious. It's like, oh, he's a comedian, but he's being serious. Isn't this amazing? That's the sort of thing that you mean, is it?
Well, yeah. All I'm interested in is getting as many laughs into people's faces as possible.
Yeah.
There are things that, I mean, you look at a film or you look at a piece of art, and what you're interested in is getting an emotion out of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if it's laughter, then go for as many as you can.
Yeah.
It's like going for as many orgasms as you can in one shot.
Yeah.
And
It's going for, not necessarily getting, Nancy. That's.
I'm talking about as many hits as you can get.
No, definitely.
If it's a pitiful thing, if it's sadness, I can write probably the most saddest song of film ever. And if I'm going for sadness, I'll go for sadness. But if I'm going for a comedy, I'll go for comedy. And I want bang, bang, bang. And that's what we did with House of Fools.
And
we did it.
Yeah. Were you being told by executives that was wrong and that you should be doing something different? I read that they were kind of advising you how to change
I've not heard that.
Right. Well, I think
executives have never come into my life.
No, I can't imagine. Well, that's why I was surprised when I saw it. But you're sort of told like people. Oh, you're meant to do not meant to do comedy like that. Comedy's meant to be like this.
I tell you what, I've
narrative.
never ever paid any attention to what anyone has ever told me to do.
I know, but I would sort of been just amazed if anyone tried. That's all I was. I hoped that someone had tried.
Executives.
It is filmed, but they can see it. They're all watching. It's all right. You're safe. You're in a safe space when it comes to TV here. Let's see how we go. Oh my goodness, it's flying by.
In Canterbury.
It's flying by. What?
Who's from Canterbury?
Anyone from Canterbury? Yeah, weird.
It's a great city. I love it.
Yeah, it is nice. It's a graduation day today. It's been lovely.
What?
It's the graduation day of the Canterbury Kent University of Kent. The Canterbury Kent University.
Richard
of Kent.
Herrings has just. I love calling you Richard Herrings.
I enjoy it too.
Richard Herrings has just announced that it's graduation day.
So if you haven't done all your work, you haven't got a degree. Now fuck off. It's very sweet out there. Yeah, it's a beautiful city.
It is, yeah.
So
Where are you going next, Richard Herrings?
Next, I'm going to York and then the Edinburgh Fringe.
Are you going to York
next? Yeah.
So you're travelling on train?
No, I'll probably drive. It's easier.
Have you got your Fiat Berlingo?
I've got a Volkswagen Charan, mainly for touring in. Unless it's close, then I have a e-Golf electric car.
So, Richard Herrings,
Yes.
what will you do tonight? You'll go back to your...
I'm going to go back to my house in Hertfordshire.
Oh, you can actually drive back from
Well,
here.
my young boy will drive me back. I've got a young boy for various...
Oh, you've got someone who drives you?
I've got a young boy, he does various services for
And
me
he
on tour.
drives you to your next proposition.
Well, we're only doing these every now and again, so it's quite nice. Because I was touring quite heavily, and now I've got two little tiny children at home, and it's difficult to be away. Not like
you want
yours.
to get back home to them.
They're little.
Where do they live?
They live with their mother and me for the moment. So that's good. Might not be true at the time of broadcast.
So you'll maybe go back and see them for a moment, and then go off to York.
Well, actually, tomorrow. I'm going to Glasgow to be.
Oh, hang on a minute. Just hold back.
But I'm not doing a podcast.
The next show's in York.
But I'm not doing a podcast in Glasgow.
Change it to Newcastle.
I am.
Glasgow.
I'm performing in the House of Games Champion of Champions. Yeah, so I'm going to lose because I'm tired. It's a difficult quiz against people who probably Charlie Hickson will be there. I bet he's probably going to be in it.
I'll bet
he'll be there. And then I'm coming back again.
Yeah. So what do you think of Canterbury?
I love Canterbury. Weirdly, because I usually do the other theatre in town, the Gulbenkian. And so I don't usually come into the heart of Canterbury. It's been a little while. It's beautiful here. I was trying to... when we came here as Lee and Herring, and I think we might have been at this theatre, I might be wrong, there was some little alley with a really funny name, and I was looking around for it so that I could do a joke about it, and I couldn't find it again. What is it? Turn again line. That's not that good. It's no grope. There's always one called Grope Cunt Lane, isn't there, in most cities?
Grope Cunt Lane is in... you got Funny Lane here.
Okay, that might be it. Did it? There we go. You know all about it, don't you, mate? And you disapprove. I liked it when it was called Grope. You and Trump, you loved that.
I always used to go down Grip Cock Lane.
Did you?
When I was in Manchester.
Yeah. It's a good place to go. But they're all just named after. That's what all the streets are named after what you used to sell in the streets. It's nice. It's quaint, isn't it? Orange. There's one about orange. There used to be oranges sold in one of your streets. Pathetic.
Arsefinger Lane in Nottingham.
Yeah.
Is very popular.
Oh well, we may have got enough.
Yeah,
We may have got enough.
Ground to a halt.
When was the last time you travelled by coach, Jim?
On coach?
Yeah, when you're on a coach, not a bus, but on a coach, specifically from a town to town on a coach.
1989.
Yeah, I reckon mine was about then. How was it?
And that, ladies and gentlemen,
I think we
bombshell.
I think we might have got it now on that. Where did you go in 1989 on a coach?
You've got to go and see your kids, haven't you?
Yeah, I do.
I know I certainly have.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you give a massive round of applause to Jim Moir, Vic Reeves? I'll see you in the foyer if you are interested. Thank you very much. How'd you like them sky potatoes?